Welcome back to Live With, brought to you by Species Nutrition. Visit speciesnutrition.com. Today's guest is Ifbb Men's Classic Physique Pro, Domenick DiBenedetto, who is hours away from getting on the USS Iwo Jima and getting shipped off to sea for the next 7 to 8 months. Welcome, Domenick, and congratulations on that pro card victory back at the Team Universe last year.
Hey, thank you, Dave. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
It's got to be tough, I imagine, working out when you're out at sea in the Navy. I was at Pearl Harbor and I went on a tour of some of those ships that they have there back from. I'm sure they're nicer than the ones in World War II, but maybe not. I don't know how you live, a big guy like that. How do you live in such small quarters? And it's crazy.
Oh, it's like a catacombs. Having to get out, and especially with our work, our watch schedules. We stand 12 to 14 hours to watch a day. 24 hours a day. So, the only time you really have to really train is at like 3, 4 in the morning before you go, you take on your 12 to 14 hour day. So, we start at like 3 in the morning where I just have to roll right on my rack as soon as my alarm goes off just to get on my feet. And then, I start my day right from there.
That's crazy. I always wondered, so you guys have a 24-hour shift, so there's always someone on, on duty?
Yes.
So, who gets, the guys that are up, all night, do they sleep during the day? How does that work?
Yeah, they'll sleep during the day. They'll have, a day sleepers. So, at night, the night watch, and luckily, they usually have me on days, so that's where most of the action is. We're busiest. But the night watch, they'll sleep during the day, but they'll have to wake up during, emergencies. But same thing for us, too. If we're sleeping at midnight, especially as a rescue swimmer, at 2 a.m. you hear men overboard. You got to think you're getting up at 2. Within 15 minutes, you're ready to jump in the middle of the ocean looking for save someone's life. So the door swings both ways. That's crazy.
Now, when I see these huge, humongous ships that you guys are on, it's literally like a building that's floating in the ocean. If someone goes overboard, someone like you would just dive over and get them, or how does that go about? How do you rescue these guys?
There's two types of methods. They have the helos and they have the boats. As a rescue swimmer, we have 2 on board, and then we have some of the air guys. And right away, the boat, they'll usually drop another smaller boat, which they lower it down, and then we'll go find the person. And then you have the people in combat. They'll track the body. So you'll hear them, hey, this person's over here, and they'll announce it over from one radio to the other radio. And then we'll hear, and we'll have to look for them. Then they'll put us right in the water. I've swam in 13-foot swells before. I swam in middle of January, freezing waters, looking for people. Sometimes it's actually like a false alarm. So one time in 2010, I was swimming, and I thought it was a person. Everyone thought it was a person, but it was actually a piece of plastic from another ship. And one of the lookouts called man overboard. It was freezing. It was like 4-degree water, and just cold as hell out. But, when you have all the adrenaline going through, you got to do what you got to do to get the person.
That's crazy. How did you get that duty? And first of all, why did you pick the Navy when you decided to go into the armed services?
I walked into different branches, and when I went to the Marines, they kind of, they didn't really seem right for me. And I originally wanted to be a Navy SEAL, but I didn't make it through the program when I was 19. So when I dropped out of that program, I actually got offered a job as a search and rescue swimmer, and I was like, this still seems kind of cool. It's not really the right thing, but once I got involved into SAR, I was like, this is exactly where I felt most comfortable. And it was just, the program was there, and it's one of those special programs where you got to screen for it, and it's a full volunteer program, so they can drop you off right there. You can quit at any time you really want to.
Gotcha. Now, the Navy SEAL program, what would make that so hard that you wouldn't be able to get through? What part snagged you?
The part that snagged me was before Hell Week. I was 19 years old, and they like I said, it's a very big mental game, and it is truly the toughest of the tough that make it through that program. And it was before Hell Week, because when they it was I think 2 in the morning, or I can't quite remember. We're talking about 10 years now almost. So it was like 4 in the morning where I was they were messing kind of with my head a little bit, and something they said to me kind of stuck in my head, and then it's like, this program isn't really for me. It was you have to keep up, and I wasn't really keeping up with the rest of the program at the time. I wasn't keeping up with the rest of my team. It's a team effort, and then and there I was realized, nah, this isn't for me. And I didn't want to be somebody that would get somebody else killed. Right. So I was like, let me go back out to the fleet and, get my life together out there.
Is it, because I imagine when you're sleep deprived and they're pushing you, you become a different person almost. I remember when I was in medical school and they were having us do overnight shifts, I like my whole personality changed when I was sleep deprived for like 1 or 2 days. Is that the most difficult part, or is it the physical part that's more demanding?
It was a cold. I swear to God, I thought South California was the coldest place in the friggin' planet.
Now that you're on the ocean, all the time, do you see like crazy stuff? Do you ever run into whales and all kinds of wildlife out there?
One time I was sitting watch on the boat deck as a rescue swimmer, and I was sitting down, and it was actually a really nice night. I looked down, and I saw a turtle, I think it was the size of a Nissan Versa, just swimming across the ship. I look at it, I go, no way that's swimming across right now. It was just a giant sea turtle swimming along. In 2013, I was swimming, and what I used to do is I used to have like a waterproof, shouldn't be saying it, but I had like a waterproof iPod in, and we were doing exercises, and I used to listen to Shoot to Thrill by AC/DC because I thought it was Iron Man.
Yeah. And
I would swim down as far down because it was cool under the water. So I'd swim down, and I would just like relax. So I turned around, I saw a manta ray. Now, I remember looking back at it, but this manta ray had to be like 50 feet with like laser eyes and like a laser tail, and it was, swam the speed of sound. Because I saw that thing, I was like, I get the hell out of here. I never swam so fast in my life. It just came out of nowhere and scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, you think you're in the Navy, you have to worry about other people, but the wildlife is right next to you there in that water.
The captain said he saw me swim above water because that's how fast I was swimming.
Any encounters with any sharks when you're out there at all?
There was one time we were actually off the coast of Djibouti, and we were doing exercises, but the way it kind of got put out to us, we were supposed to just get in the water, do a quick exercise, and come back in. But we ended up getting in the water, and we were doing our exercises, but our boat officer's like, keep doing drills, whatever, we got plenty of time. So me and the other swimmers decided it was a good idea to play water polo. So we took our helmet off, we're playing water polo, and we just found out that was one of the most shark-infested waters around. I never got yelled at like that in my entire life, but let me tell you, it's a funny story looking back at it.
Not so funny if there would have been sharks in the water. Now, are you one of these guys that will jump out of like the helicopters into the water like you see sometimes the Coast Guard do?
Yes, I have. I have done the exercises. My job is primarily on the boat, but in 2010, our captain wanted us to be efficient with the air rescue guys. Right. So I was lucky enough to actually go out and do jumps with the air rescue swimmers and experience what it's like with them. So that way, just in case something happened, we were interchangeable with each other. So I was lucky enough to be able to jump out of helicopters a couple times and come up on there. And that was a good experience. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of hard work, but hindsight's 20/20. So you look back at it, like, man, that was pretty cool.
I mean, I guess you're not afraid of heights. If I was up in a helicopter, I don't even know how high up you guys jump from, but I mean, how do you just step off the helicopter into the water? I mean, how do you do that? How do you just, the first time you do it? I mean, I'm sure after you do it a while, you get used to it, but the first time would have to be terrifying.
I like the adrenaline rush. I like the adventure.
Wow. See, I could never do that. I have a fear of heights somehow. I don't really have a fear of heights. I have a fear of jumping out of things that you don't know what's going to happen when you hit the water. Right. All right. So in 2013, you were kind of just training regularly, and you see someone on the ship who's eating a very regimented diet. Is that how you first got into the whole bodybuilding culture?
Yeah, his name was he's a chief now, Chief Petty Officer Whitaker, and another guy, he was Petty Officer Beard. They were probably the two of the biggest dudes I've ever met. And I would watch what they would eat, and I look at what I was eating, and I didn't like it. Like, I knew something was off. Like, I was a rescue swimmer. I was the athlete of the ship, and these two guys happened to be on there eating clean food and lifting weights, and they looked like they had great physiques that I really admired. So I kind of went under their wings in 2013. That's where I just got addicted, and I realized I want to be a bodybuilder.
Do you find that you swim worse with more muscle mass, less body fat than you did maybe before you had, a more athletic, or bodybuilder physique?
No, my body's always going to be conditioned for that. I've been doing it for so long. I'm always going to be able. I think it's more of a mental thing than anything else. It's the mental toughness of being able to. I have to go do this. I don't care what it's going to stop me. I'm going to do it no matter what. If I have to get in the water, I don't care if I just ate a cheeseburger. I'm going to swim at my best.
When did you know you had like the ability to go far in the sport and get your IFBB pro card? Who told you that? Who said, hey, you know what, you can do this and you can get your pro status?
It was after the Ferrigno Legacy. It was 2015. I won the novice and I won the open at the Ferrigno Legacy. And this was 6 weeks after I pretty much like got laughed off stage. I did the Paradise Cup again in 2015 and I got a 3rd place, and my posing was so bad. I actually had to go to a posing school with my coach, Sean Calder, who actually started teaching me posing.
Right.
And I went and did the Ferrigno Legacy and just destroyed it. And I was like, hey, I think it's time to step up. I just wanted to do the nationals to fulfill like a childhood dream and of competing at just such a high level. And when I ended up getting first call out at the nationals in 2016, I was like, I can win this. Like, I can win my pro card. And I knew I got orders that time over in Mayport. So here's where like the real story gets interesting, is because I had to really put every nickel and dime I had into doing Team U. So, I contacted every mentor I've ever had, and my dad. I love my dad. I love my family. But everyone told me, you have nothing more to prove, man. You got first call out in the first national championships. You got 6th place. Focus on your career. And I was like, I'm going to take this gamble. I'm like, the hell with it. So when I did Team U, I sat with my coach, Mike, and I was like, what do you think? He says, well, we're going to go learn from our mistakes, because obviously at the national level, you make one mistake, boom, you're done. And I messed up one pose that immediately put me to 6th place. I mean, they didn't even look at me the rest of the time. So I knew where I needed to work. I needed to work here, I needed to work there. My legs, my back could have came out a little bit more. My posing needed to fine-tune a little bit more. Sat with my coaches, and we put the work in. And I could actually, some of the guys that beat me at nationals were there at Team U, and I placed higher then. So ultimately, I think the biggest lesson is that you learn from your mistakes, and you have to take that gamble. That and it was all worth it. Now people are looking at me like, wow, you spent $6,000. You put yourself in debt just to do it. But hey, I won my pro card. I'm on my way now to hopefully dominating the pro league in the next few years.
Well, like we always say, bodybuilding's a hobby until it's not, but usually it stays as a hobby for a very long time. So some guys buy cars, some guys, collect stamps or baseball cards or God knows what, but we put the money into our bodies. It paid off for you, obviously, at that Team Universe. And what was interesting is I always tell people, you got to be at the right place at the right time. You interestingly placed 3rd in your class, but they give pro cards to the top 2, but one of the guys in your class already got a pro card, so you just happened to be at the right place at the right time. They gave you the 2nd pro card in that class, and now you're an IFBB pro. But now they're shipping you off to sea for 7 to 8 months. So how does that affect your training, your eating? I guess you have to say, what kind of accommodations do you have to make to be on the sea for that long a period of time?
So we did an 8-week trial one, me and my coach, Mike. So first I want to say I love Species Nutrition. I'm not a Species Nutrition, sponsored athlete. Dave's not paying me to be on here, but I'm a huge fan of it because Navy food is not the best for bodybuilding. But so to talk about my diet, I'm going to talk a lot about how I actually use your products. So we did an 8-week trial one. We went away for about 8 weeks on COM2X, it's called, and I was actually away for Hurricane Irma. I did a lot of the rescue work down there as well. So during that trial one, I got to see, hey, how am I going to look within 8 weeks of doing this specific diet? So I would get up at about 3 in the morning. Like I said, I roll on my rack. And what I do is I do 1 scoop of Isolyze and I do 1 scoop of Carbolyze. And that's just enough to get like some food in my stomach just so I get up, and then I take a shower. So then I got to work out, but working out on a ship is not probably what it's a blessing and it's a curse. It's actually a blessing in disguise, excuse me, because you got to think the ship's rocking a lot.
It's a lot of stabilization.
So you really got to focus on that holding that, because if the ship's coming down and you're just letting weight drop, you're going to hurt yourself. So you have to, have a good workout partner, and I could call this gym like Rocky IV because there's no music, you can't have earbuds in, and there's no women around with skimpy clothing talking to guys. You got to be fully dressed. So you're going there to work,
right? And
that's kind of the beauty of it. You're going in there at 4 in the morning, rocking shit, heavyweight. You got to be very careful, and From then on, I would normally eat breakfast at about 6:06 because my watch starts at 7. And I would do 4 hard-boiled eggs, and I would do another scoop of the chocolate milk isolized with Cheerios. That's my favorite. That's like my favorite part of the day right there.
So hold on, let me stop you for a second. So you would get up 3 in the morning just because you wanted to train. You didn't have to get up at 3 in the morning. Some guys, I'm sure, sleep probably till like 5 o'clock, I would think, right?
Yeah, some people. We got some sailors who get up like 10 minutes before their watch, get in uniform, and run upstairs and like I didn't eat breakfast.
That's funny. All right, so you now you're having your Cheerios with your isolized, and then what do? You go on watch?
So then I have to really gauge each day individually because you got to think we have exercises, we have general quarters drills, we have to simulate fighting the ship. We may have actual casualties. So I have my food, my command supports me. I spend about $800-900 on canned chicken and canned tuna fish.
Gotcha. So you eat a lot of your own food.
Oh, yeah, a lot of canned tuna. It's horrible. And a lot of canned chicken. It's disgusting. It does not get any better. No. So about 9 o'clock, after we're done with our cleaning stations, I'll eat a can of chicken and I'll have a handful of almonds. So I do maybe about 150 grams of carbs a day. Right. But I keep the rest of the day pretty low carb just because I got those Italian genes where if I have too many, I just get fat.
Don, I got to stop you once again because I got to ask you. You're at sea for 8 months. How many cans of tuna and chicken do you bring with you?
I legitimately just spent about $800 on canned chicken and canned tuna.
Do you have enough room to store it there? Did they let you bring an unlimited amount?
Well, I actually brought up 2 sea bags, and I needed help lifting them onto the ship. So the chief looks at it and goes, "What's all this?" And I was like, "It's my food." And she just arrived, so she really some of the other guys knew what I was doing, but she's new. She has no idea I'm a professional bodybuilder. Right. So I explained to her, and she's like, "All right, well, we can keep this downstairs." So I keep a little tub where I work, so I'm always able to access it. Right. And then I have to keep a giant sea bag in one of the rooms where it actually we defend against torpedoes. So we have a torpedo defense missile system, and then we have a giant sea bag worth of chicken and tuna right next to it.
The funny thing is that most guys would be like, most bodybuilders would be like, "I'm not leaving that out of my room. Someone's going to steal it." But at sea, those guys don't want you tuna and chicken. They think you're probably a nutcase. They probably like, "Who the hell wants this crap?" They want to eat the junky food probably they serve at the mess hall there, right?
Yeah, but we have Burger Wednesdays, which is the best. So I'll go down just to hang out with my sailors, and we'll have they'll see me eating my can of chicken and mustard, and then they'll look at burgers. Burgers are like, "Why are you eating that?" And I just look at them and go, "That's the difference, guys. That's why I got a big bicep." We always mess with each other.
What a crazy thing. So 7 months at sea like this, do you go to any ports where you can actually buy more food, or do you kind of just that last you the whole time?
I actually can order food. I get care packages. I get care packages from my family members and some of my friends. My teammates send me stuff. So it's always a good help. I use a lot of sugar-free drinks to curb any cravings. So the cravings I get, normally you're going to eat canned chicken. Right. So, the sugar-free Kool-Aid helps. People tell me I'm going to die of aspartame. I think I'm going to die from other things other than aspartame. So
you're getting eaten by a shark more likely.
Yeah, I know. I think I got a better chance of that.
Yeah, when people send you gifts, send you care packages, what do? They drop them off by helicopter? How the heck do they deliver it if you're out at sea?
Every few weeks we do what's called an underway replenishment. This actually was used a lot in World War II because our ships always had to be out at sea, and you got to think how we can get them supplies. So say they send a ship full of supplies that's full of mail, it's full of food for the ship. You got to think we can only hold so much. We got 1,500 to 2,000 Marines on board. So how are we going to feed all these people? So they line up both the ships. They go at the same speed next to each other, and they just drop it off through a helicopter, and they hook up lines and they send it over crates.
So it must be like Christmas for you guys when the supplies come, because you don't know what's coming. It's like presents.
Oh yeah, we didn't get one our last time, and our food started to go bad on the mess decks. Because sometimes I'll eat mess deck food. Like if they get salmon, I'll eat salmon. If they got luckily if they have chicken at night, I'll eat chicken. Just to have something different. However, during the middle of our exercise, our food started going low, and they were just serving rice and cabbage, and it was just it was a mental game because our food is our solace for the most part.
Your tuna probably became a lot more valuable, once everyone was eating cabbage and rice every meal, right?
No, I think people still would eat tuna. I think they're just right the cat. No one likes that, man.
All right, so to sum this all up, you got 7 to 8 months out at sea. You're leaving tomorrow. I know you want to compete in a pro show before the end of the year. The plan was originally the Ferrigno Legacy Classic. That was canceled, as we know. What's the new game plan moving forward for the rest of the year?
The heart right now it's the Hawaii Pro. I want my heart belongs in Hawaii. I'm from Jersey, but I'm Hawaii's favorite Jersey boy. So I plan on competing there and really getting a good gauge of where I should be. And then I have a whole other season because our ship is going to should be going to the shipyard to do some repairs for a while.
Right.
So that gives me plenty of time to get on prep and diet while we're in repair mode.
Oh, so I see. So you might be out at sea for 7 to 8 months, but then the ship comes back, and then you guys get off, and then you're kind of free. You have free time. How does that work?
We go into like a repair mode. So we have time to now go to schools, learn new systems, get qualified in other systems. So it allows us to be able to be more flexible on the ship to get ready for next deployment.
Gotcha. And now, are you a lifer? I mean, are you doing this as a career, or is your enlistment up at some point?
I've been in for 10 years, so my personal goal is I want to go to Olympia while active duty in the Navy. That's primarily what I've been aiming towards, and I think that's a realistic goal. You got to see in 4 years I went from a second place novice to a pro, and I'm training harder to take on the pros. I'm looking forward to them taking on the pros. So I want to do it while in the Navy. Just say, hey, you can do this while active duty.
Right. All right. Well. You got an interesting life, a lot of excitement, that's for sure, and I really respect your diligence and organization that you can be able to lift in such crazy circumstances and eat all your food and make the progress that you've made is pretty amazing. And I want to wish you the best of luck the next 7 to 8 months, and if you ever get a Wi-Fi signal, be sure to send us an update.
Hey, will do, Dave. Hey, thanks for having me. I look forward to coming back and seeing you again.
Domenick DiBenedetto, Ifbb Classic Physique Pro, shipping off on the USS Iwo Jima tomorrow. Hey, it was great talking to you. We'll be in touch, but that's going to take us to the end of another episode of Live With, brought to you by Species Nutrition. Visit speciesnutrition.com. I'm Dave Palumbo, and we'll see you next time.